When it comes to collectible card games, Magic the Gathering has always been king of the hill, but there's talk now that Pokemon is actually poised to take its place. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. I hope the day finds you well, my friends. I am still settling into my new place, so sorry for the slight sound issues and lighting issues that will still be an ongoing issue for a bit. I've got some sound foam coming in the mail and the lighting will all get sorted, but it is going to be a bit of a slog in the meantime, so just bear with me. Now, we are here today to talk about the concept of Pokemon actually becoming a bigger and more important card game than Magic the Gathering, which is quite the feat. And some people are putting that idea forwards. Now, obviously, when it comes to collectible card games, it's very obvious that Magic the Gathering had the sort of we started it advantage, right? Magic the Gathering was the first collectible card game, and it inspired tons and tons of other companies to try their hand at selling collectible card games. If you played card games back in the early to mid 90s, you will remember an absolute staggering amount of card games. And even now, you can see there's still a ton of people who are hungry to get in on these lucrative markets, right? I mean, how many times have they rebooted Dragon Ball? And Digimon has some cards coming out. There's all these new card games coming along, and there are a ton of ones that kind of exist off in the sidelines and continue to make progress forwards, but no, they don't really have a chance to have any kind of genuine elbow room. You know, I'm talking things like Force of Will, Weiss Schwartz, that kind of stuff, where basically they exist and they have people who are interested in them and will continue to purchase their products, but they're never going to take prominence, right? Magic the Gathering had the whole we're the big dog on the block. And on top of that, Magic kind of had the we're slightly less of a kid game aspect. I mean, when it comes to card games, there's really three that are at the top-ish, right? So you have Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, we're not going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now because Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently has zero chance of taking the top position. But out of those three best-known versions, the card games, Magic the Gathering is the least of the this is for kids game, although people do look at, they look at it as a kid's game as well, let's be real. I started playing it when I was a kid, so not trying to pretend like it's this super adult game, but it does have sort of a little bit more prestige, not only from being the first card game, but also from being the least child-oriented kind of, I guess you could put it. I don't know. You know what, actually, I just remembered. Wizards of the Coast, if you guys didn't know this, Wizards of the Coast used to actually produce Pokemon cards. And I have here a Pokemon card with this little stamp on it here because it was made by Wizards of the Coast. I got this sent to me in the mail a couple of days ago by Electronic Waffle. So don't get excited thinking that I know anything about your Pokemans. I'm gonna, ooh yeah, let's talk about Boogulon. Is that a Pokemans? And I love instead of saying Pokemans, it would set my lady off because she's all right with Pokemans way more than me, right? So having it pronounced, I was usually, stop looking old man, stop it. And of course, me being me, I can't help but troll her and do that, right? So it is interesting to note that at one point, Wizards of the Coast was actually responsible for Pokemon cards being produced. Now, the rights to make these cards was taken back from Wizards of the Coast when they realized just how lucrative Pokemon could be. Because let's be real, Pokemon has one significant advantage that Magic the Gathering does not have. And that is, Pokemon is this huge mega franchise that sprawls across a ton of different media, right? You've got genuine Pokemon video games, movies, all those sort of things. And let's be real, Wizards of the Coast forays into a number of these different things haven't been nearly as successful. Yes, Wizards does have computer games in the form of MTGO and MTGA, right? So you've got Arena and Magic the Gathering Online, but those are just digitally playing the card game. Pretty much every time Wizards of the Coast tries to make a video game that utilizes their property but doesn't involve actually playing with cards, it fails miserably because people aren't that invested in Magic the Gathering as a franchise outside of it being a card game. The Magic the Gathering lore and everything only appeals to a certain subset of players, right? So Magic the Gathering doesn't have the massive advantage that Pokemon does in terms of instant recognizability. Pokemon keeps having like generations of new kids getting into it. Just children are like, I want Boogulon, mama, get me a Fluffy. Is Boogulon Fluffy? I don't know. Get me a slimy Boogulon that evolves into Bargle? I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. Anyhow, you've got a scenario where all these kids are getting into the game and whatever, but Magic still maintained it's like, look, this is a slightly more adult game. We've got a lot of prestigious things going on. Look at our Black Lotus card and how much like Black Lotuses sell for, and like these special really old cards that have this massive value. And like Magic the Gathering has a wide range of ages, but the age range generally starts higher. Getting into Pokemon can start, I don't even know how young kids watching Pokemon are, maybe 5? I'm guessing, I have no clue, right? But for Magic the Gathering, it tends to be a game that people almost graduate into. When they get tired of Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And want something a little more mature, they come to Magic the Gathering, right? Because it's, or at least it used to be, more balanced than these other games. Admittedly, they are kind of throwing caution to the wind here with the way they're doing things with their fire design, and it is making things less balanced. But either way, Magic the Gathering has had this like, you know what, we're the prestigious top dog. Come to us when you're done playing your little kiddie games, right? So even though Pokemon had this advantage before where, okay, it's got a constant churn of new people coming into it, it also doesn't keep people around the same way. And for the longest time, it seemed like the Pokemon singles market and stuff like that wasn't really that hot. The Magic markets would heat up here or there and things get crazier and crazier over time. But Pokemon, it just, and I mean, this is an outsider's perspective. Bear in mind that I'm not an expert on Pokemon cards. I only own one. I never really pay attention to the Pokemon markets. Part of the reason we're having this discussion is what's going on right now with Pokemon has expanded so much that it is becoming visible to people who aren't really enmeshed with the game, right? And that's the category I fall into. So right now, there is an insane feeding frenzy, really is the only way that I can describe it, going on with Pokemon, where there are a number of factors contributing to this, but one of the big ones, it appears, at least to me, is that there are major YouTubers out there, and I'm talking like, I'm not talking about card game YouTubers. I'm talking about YouTubers that have millions and millions of subscribers. Some of these channels are stuff that's absolutely not for me. Like, what's that blonde dude's name? There's like two of them. There's the Paul brothers. Is it Jake? John? Jake. It's Jake, right? Okay, so pretty sure that's who it is. There's another one. I don't know. One of those Paul dudes, right? They've got a huge channel or whatever. There's people like that who are cracking big boxes, like expensive boxes of Pokemon. And they're just bragging and showing off all the stuff that they're getting from these boxes, right? Like, check out this, check out this. They're doing box breaks where you can buy into it and you will get packs opened. Basically, if you've seen what some Magic channels already do, where they open boxes for their patrons and send stuff out, or you can like buy individual booster packs, like Unhinged Magi was doing that recently, or I mean, a bigger example of buying things and having it opened and sent out or whatever would be, you know, Alpha Investments, right? But anyways, you've got this scenario where that's going on with Pokemon, but it's not going on with just Pokemon channels like it used to. These channels that have massive followings of kids that are in the right demographic age range are watching this stuff and getting so hyped about all this old Pokemon stuff. And so what's happening is you're having these individuals come along and go, okay, there's an increased demand for Pokemon, and now there's a ton of like flippers on the market. Basically, whatever you want to call it. People have different terminology for it. In investor types, flippers, scalpers, there's all kinds of different concepts that people apply to it. But ultimately what's going on is it's virtually impossible to find any Pokemon product at its regular price. I mean, I know there aren't MSRP set for this, but whatever, like a store will buy something from the distributor and then mark it up a certain amount to make their profit, right? But you can't buy it at those prices anymore because people are coming in everywhere, every local game store, all the Walmarts, and they're clearing out all of the Pokemon stuff to the point where certain Walmarts and places are having to put up signs saying 1 item per customer, whatever, in an attempt to calm this down and make sure multiple people can get the products. Because what will happen is somebody will walk in, take everything off the shelf, and list it on eBay to sell for double or more. I was talking to my friend who owns the LGS, and he was telling me about seeing pictures where people could see, you can see the price tag that this guy paid for it. It's like he paid $65 for it. He's selling it for $150 the same day he bought it. And the crazy thing is, the stuff is all selling. It's all flying out the door at an insane pace, right? So it's creating this perception that Pokemon has grown into this massive sort of thing. But to me, it's a facade, right? It's, I guess what it really is it's bubbling right now. There's a bubble going on with it where the prices are so big that it can't help but draw more people in. There are more posts than ever from people who are clearly not well versed whatsoever in the products that they're buying, where they're like, how do I even sell this? Trying to figure out how to flip it around, right? So we have this massive influx of people coming into Pokemon and dumping a whole bunch of money into it, and the products are flying off the shelf. Honestly, when it comes to comparing that to Magic the Gathering, the last time I can actually remember a product with that level of velocity where you could literally buy it from a store and turn around and sell it for more the same day, the only product that I remember that really did that was with the very, very first Modern Masters set. You could easily pick up a box. If a shop was selling it for like 150, 160 bucks, you could sell it to somebody else for $200. And that was like a huge step up at the time. But with these Pokemon boxes, we're talking more than doubling your money instantaneously, essentially. And that's why it's cleared out everywhere. And when you have these massively high prices and the fact that no matter who you contact, you can't get your hands on the stuff, it creates the impression that this game has like this massive surge of momentum behind it based on genuine interest, like genuine desire to have the cards and not just make a short-term profit. But we're also living in the time of the smallest interest rates imaginable, right? Basically, the economy has been crushed by what's going on in the world, and that's caused, I mean, I'm obviously, disclaimer here, I'm no financial expert or anything, right? But even a financial dullard like me can see that interest rates, like even if you just have a regular savings account, I watched the interest rate on my savings account where I keep like my emergency money to go bloop, 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 bloop. So people are desperate for places to sink money. And I mean, if you can spend 65 bucks and make 150 bucks, you can see why people are jumping on that. But to me, all of this doesn't come together to speak of like genuine, sustained overtime demand. I feel like Pokemon is a game that kids get into and out of very quickly and easily with the fickleness of children. Whereas Magic the Gathering tends to, there is a certain level of churn. We have players coming and going. There is no doubt about that, right? But it feels like Magic the Gathering retains players over a longer period of time. And the only time that there are really issues with like box, like, oh, I can buy this product and sell it for at least a bit more right away, is usually only when the product is really scarce. Whereas with the Pokemon, it's just anything with Pokemon in the name right now is just buy it so I can sell it. That's the difference. And so to me, I don't view this as in like Pokemon overtaking Magic being the top dog. As far as I'm concerned, Magic the Gathering is still in the ultimate position at the top and will continue on with a more steady sort of scenario. Now, I will say that I could be wrong. This could be the start of the Pokemon Renaissance, where Pokemon literally does surpass Magic the Gathering. But just from the factors that are involved, it doesn't feel like it's an upwelling of genuine interest. It feels like YouTube hype plus a bunch of impressionable people plus a bunch of greedy people all crammed together to create this raging hot inferno of a market, right? So in my opinion, Magic the Gathering has yet to be surpassed by any of its two major competitors. We will see how things go over time. Anyhow, that is this man's thought. That's one historian's thoughts. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Names of my glorious patrons who love to rub butter on themselves, scroll on by. So if you like to be a butter boy or a butter gal, then hop on my Patreon. All right, thanks for coming by, my friends. See you for the next one.